All right, and I will share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to begin with introducing ourselves. Okay, can you please go first?
Hello. So my name is Quinn,
Mhm.
but I prefer to be called as Jenny. I'm 17 years old and I'm living in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City.
Most of my students would come from the south. Mhm. So you prefer to be called Miss Jenny? Jenny.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anything more that you'd like to share?
I'm studying at a high school for the gifted,
Mhm.
and I really enjoy studying like biology and some other science subjects.
Mhm. Okay. And so I guess since you made a short introduction of yourself, so I try to introduce mine as well. So my name is Maravik. Some students would just call me Miss Maravik. Yeah, I think I don't know. Teacher is like I don't know. For some students, maybe they would think that I'm too young, so Miss is okay. All right. So I love dogs, and I'm also a beach person. I also love writing, and I graduated bachelor in special education. So that means that yeah, I've learned a lot of psychology subjects, and I think that I can help
Mhm.
students in their learning. Yeah, so I'll try to do my best to help you in your goals.
Okay.
All right. I'm from the Philippines, by the way.
Wow.
I'm 36 years old, turning 37, but it's still like aging. It's like 2 months from now, I'll be 37.
Okay.
All right, so the next thing is I will discuss the speaking band descriptors. I think I should change the screen sharing options. Okay, this one. Okay, can you see what I'm sharing, right?
Yes.
Your goal is band 7, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. It's true.
So you got band 6 before, is that correct? Yeah. So in IELTS speaking, there are areas by which you will be measured. That would be fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. I think you don't have so much problem with pronunciation. I can hear you clearly. And so maybe we'll just focus on the three areas, fluency and coherence. Here are the things that you'll be needing when, if you wanted to achieve a band 7 in IELTS speaking. So first you can see here speak at length. So in band six also you can see speak at length. So that's something which is important. So you have to speak longer. But in band 7 specifically, you have to do it without noticeable effort or loss of coherence. That means you have to speak continuously. There are still, I mean, you can still make some mistakes, but it shouldn't be too much. There are things that you have to avoid, such as hesitation. You have to also avoid doing some repetition and self-correction. You also need to use a range of connectives and discourse markers. There are many examples of connectives and discourse markers, and I think I will just send a link to you later.
Okay.
With lexical resource, it has something to do with your vocabulary skills. You need to use vocabulary resource flexibly. to discuss a variety of topics. It would help if you would less common vocabulary and also idiomatic vocabulary. Then you need to also show some awareness of style and collocation. Collocations would be a great help. Useful expressions as well. And you have to paraphrase effectively. So as you can see here, in band 6, there's also paraphrasing is also important. So the better or the better you at paraphrasing, you can possibly get band 7 or even more than that, because it's also mentioned here that paraphrasing is important in band 8. In grammatical range and accuracy, you need to use a range of complex structures with some flexibility. It would help if you use not just the common tenses of verbs, but if you can use conditional sentence or other grammatical structures as well. Then, of course, you have to limit making grammatical mistakes as much as possible if you can make it error-free. That means the higher the chances that you will have into getting this band or even more. You can still have some mistakes though, but the lesser mistakes that you will have in each area, the higher chances that you get a very good speaking score. Okay. I will switch to I'll switch sharing my screen. All right, so the next thing that we are going to have is our speaking practice. I've chosen some topics for us to discuss. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen. I hope we can finish from parts 1 to 3.
Okay.
And after our speaking practice, I'll try to give a feedback to you.
So we're doing like a full practice?
We'll try. Mm. All right, so for our first topic, for part 1, we'll have spending time with others. Okay, the first question, do you like talking to people?
Definitely. I tend to spend a lot of time talking to my relatives or my group of friends. And to be more specific, the topics that I choose to discuss with them will depend on the people that I talk to. For example, when I talk to friends, it's usually about the stories surrounded me, like about my daily life or like my hobbies.
We move on to the next question. How do you like spending time with your friends?
I absolutely love it. I consider the time talking and gathering with others people is like the golden opportunity for me to discover more about others people and also to strengthen the connections between me and others people. Moreover, I think that by the time like thanks to the time talking to others people, we can be closer and um, like shorten the gap between us.
So, next question. Would you prefer to study alone or with others?
I would go for the latter one. I believe that studying in a group or studying with others people can help me to memorize better. To me, to be more specific, uh, I can learn and talking with each others about these topics or lessons that I have learned. Moreover, they can help me to recall of all of the memory that I have learned.
Next, the last question for part 1, then we move on to part 2. Do you remember a time when you needed to cooperate with others?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah. Do you remember a time when you needed to cooperate with others?
If my memory serves me well, that was the time when I need to take the entrance test to high school. At that time, I remembered calling a friend to do such a group project so that we can memorize the lessons better. Um, and she has helped me a lot in studying and writing some of the lectures to passing the entrance exams for high school. And we had done a lot of projects together, and she knew me pretty well. So that's why we cooperate really effectively.
Okay, we move on now to part 2. I will paste the cue card first. Now I'll share my screen. In part 2, you will be given 1 minute to prepare and 2 minutes for your speaking. Okay, so here's what you have to do. In part 2, you're going to describe something that surprised you and made you happy. You may mention the following: what the thing was, who did this, how did you find out about it, and explain why it is surprised you and made you happy. You have 1 minute for preparation, and time starts now. Time is up.
Okay.
I will set this to 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah, you may start now.
So today I'm gonna talk about a surprising things that I've received from my families, and that is a surprise meal. We went on that day. I remember we went to a Hadilao restaurant, and I just expect that is a usual meal, a usual dinner, as we tend to go eat out. However, that day was like after that day, it was my 16th birthday. So, but I expect that my parents would be far away too busy with their work, so they wouldn't remember my birthday. However, after while we're eating dinner, the the staff at that restaurant just just brought out a birthday cake, and they also sang the birthday songs at our table. And that's the moment when I was blown away, and I was over the moon because the surprise that my parents had made to me. And actually, I also received a bouquet of flowers and some little presents, which are some books that I'm fond of reading, like some romantic books, English books. And this meal is such a it's like it's make me feel really happy, and I'm really excited when I'm really happy about this meal because I didn't know that they was made this surprise for me.
Okay, I will stop sharing my screen. Let's proceed to part 3. We have at least 4 questions. Then after that, I will give you feedback. All right. So how do people express happiness in your culture?
To be honest, there are some ways for people in my country to express their happy feelings. Uh, one of one of the most obvious way I would say is to smile and express some of the facial do some of the facial expressions. Um, to be more specific, people tend to smile when they hear or receive such a fun informations.
Okay, next question. Do you think happiness has any effect on people?
Um, yes, definitely. I believe that happiness can have a huge impact on people's feeling. Not only happiness can help people to reduce their stress from working, but also uh, can even make their day. Usually, happiness can, you know, um, allows people to feel more better, both mentally and physically, and also they may recharge their energy from a really hard working time.
The next question. How can people be happy?
Well, there can be plenty of ways for people to feel happy. For some people, for for some people, happiness can come from a really little and simple things, such as receiving some compliments from others people, or maybe just to purchase something that they like. Um, However, in stark contrast, some others people find buying something big, such as a house or a car, like some possessions, or even to achieve something in the academic field, can fulfill their feelings.
And moving on, the last question. Is it good for people to be unhappy?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Is it good for people to be unhappy?
Uh, Sometimes being unhappy is may have a beneficial effect on people's emotion. This is simply because unhappiness is an inevitable feelings of human, and I think that the benefits can comes from the way that people confront the unhappy things. Uh, for examples, when people have to face like a failure in their life, if they know how to look on the bright side, rather than just doing nothing, then being unhappy at that time can give them a lessons to work harder in the next day.
Yeah, actually, overall, like uh, I find that your speaking skills are really good, to begin with.
Really.
Mm, yes. How did you like? I mean, did you study? Did you study in a center before? Have you ever
Um,
studied online as well? Or,
yeah, I'm studying both actually.
I see. You study with a native speaker?
I used to at a center with native speaker, but now I'm studying with the Vietnamese one. As I find studying with foreigners sometimes it's not really effective. I mean, like
Mhm.
they do not give me some really useful tips. I mean, they do, but sometimes they don't.
Oh, I see. Maybe they don't want to offend
Yeah,
someone.
I think they give something.
Yeah. Okay. How about with a Vietnamese person? How to find it? Like, is it a lot better for you?
Kind of better, but I
Mhm.
feel like because there's a big difference between the two environments. Because in the environment with the Vietnamese teacher, like the students there, like the peers, they are kind of not real. They're not as good as the students in the native speakers environments. I mean, like I don't know, like the speaking skill is not really good,
Oh,
so and also the Vietnamese teachers they kind of like they show my some of the things that I have to correct before in front of the class. So it's kind of make me feel a little bit inconfident to speak.
oh, I see. Okay. You feel sometimes maybe you'd feel a bit embarrassed. I don't know. Not really. Okay. But at least, right, you feel shy, like to be corrected in front of others somehow. Yeah. It might affect your confidence at times. It's okay. So it's your first time like talking to a Filipino teacher, is it?
um, is it? I think when I was in kindergarten,
Um,
to have a Filipino teachers like they
okay.
came to home and study one like this. Not
I
like
see.
online, but face to face.
Oh, I see. How do you find Filipino teachers? What's your impression?
I don't really remember because I was too little at that time. But I think Filipino has good English.
Good English skills. I see.
Yeah. Oh, did you take the IELTS test?
I took some courses, many courses about this.
Or do you take like the actual test?
Just how's it? Just a mock test. Yeah.
Um,
Some, I just noticed that you have some sort of like a little bit British accent.
British? Really?
I don't know. They're just times, yeah. Mhm. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a very good speaking accent. I think it's not really a problem. I mean, the pronunciation part. Although sometimes they just make an extra S ending sound, which I think is It's actually it's also present in some Vietnamese English learners. Mostly, actually, the ending sounds would be a struggle for them, but I think this is the only one that I saw in your entire speaking practice. With the other sounds, I think you're quite good. You just sometimes make a S extra and make an extra S ending sound. And it's good that you were able to speak at length all the time, which is something that's very important. And this is a very good thing to begin with. I think I've heard you used fillers. I don't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, you have to avoid using this. I think for the most part, I didn't hear you. I think it just in one occasion. And you possess very good vocabulary skills in that you were able to use a mix of common and uncommon vocabulary as you speak in sentences. You have good paraphrasing skills. Yeah, sorry. Uh, this is okay. I don't have any other comments. Yeah, I think has it. Yeah, I think it's possible for you to be able to get your desired score, provided that you put a lot more effort. And then, um, so like when I give uh some topics to students, I provide them with links, and you can study the sample answers. I
Okay.
have one website that I usually use for my students. I think it's actually a Filipino website. I think the answers there are quite good. Yeah, there are some like some vocabulary, and then like some meaning, something that you can use also in your speaking. It can be a guide for you. What else? Yeah, mostly like if a student made some errors in class, like usually I provide a review before, I mean during the class, and also before the every class starts as well. Yeah, so that's what I usually do. At least it would help the student. Yeah, it would help instill the instill information to the student, review in class, and before the class starts as well. But sometimes I also maybe it's also good to like have more speaking practice. Sometimes I give some news topics to students so we can like sort of have a free talk
Mm.
to just to make them speak more confidently. I think it's a good way also to um, for the student to speak his or her mind in class. It gains they would gain more self-confidence. They
Mm.
speak. Well, I think it's actually, yeah, you actually had a very good speaking performance, because I think you were not like you were not so nervous. I mean, some other students, like of course if they have a trial class like for the first time, maybe it would be their first trial class online, they would usually feel nervous, and that sometimes they would struggle to speak at length because of that nervous feeling. But since you've been studying English for a long time, I think it's not really like a problem to you.
Well, yeah. Well, but actually, I do get nervous a little bit at the beginning. So, but
Really? Uh-huh. Didn't really notice it. Yeah.
I tend to get nervous when it comes to the actual test. So when I have to face the foreigners, like the actual examiner.
They would be like they would look intimidating.
But like they're just really straight and they show no emotions. But
Okay, I see. Yeah, sometimes like that's the problem with other people. Like I guess if you see someone like they look intimidating, right? You would worry about like how your score would look like. Right. Okay, so yeah, I think 30 minutes is up, and Should you be interested in learning with me, you can contact the center about it.
Okay.
Goodbye and have a nice evening. I hope to see you again. Yes,
Good
goodbye.
evening.